tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a detailed pet, as you can see from the title of the video. And basically, this pet is going to just follow you around. Uh, so yeah, let's get right into it. Uh, Basically, what you want to do is weld. Oh, by the way, this scripting tutorial uh, is not for the basics. So if you're just beginning on scripting, I wouldn't advise this video to you. However, if you are at a decent level at scripting and you want to know more, so I think this would be a more fitting video for you. Alright, so anyway, you have your pet, which is a model, because if you wanted to make it a detailed pet, you'd have to have like more parts. Anyway, so you get your model basically, and you drag it, and you want it to like do something with this pet. What I want to make it do is just like when I press the letter Z on my keyboard, I want the pet to come to the workspace, and then I want it to follow me around. So I've made the weld, and as many parts as you have, that's how many welds you need. So like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need 11 welds. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so now I have 11 welds, and now I'm going to make these welds. If you're not familiar with welds, you should probably look into it because they're really useful. They have 3 properties that I care about in the first place that I'm also using them for. They have part 0, which is the base, which is the main part. Then they have part 1, which you are connecting. The part that you're connecting is the part 1. And then they have the C0, which is like where your connected parts should be. So like you have to rearrange where the C frame of it will be, because it won't just be anywhere. Because like if you just weld it to part 0 and part 1, the part 1 will just teleport to the center of part 0, and it'll just stay there like that. And you probably don't want that. You want it to stay like detailed and stuff. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. Alright, so you want to first make a table for all the welds. Actually, first I'm going to identify where the pet is. By the way, make sure it's parented under Starry GUI, and don't move it around much because it'll glitch out sometimes. Oops, I've already done this before, so it's just popping up for me. Oops, pet. Okay, I've identified the pet. Now I'm gonna identify all the welds within a table. So local welds equals pet.front get children. By the way, you don't care about how neat your script is right now because you're not going to use the script. It's just to arrange these welds easily rather than going through like each one of them and scripting each one of them, because you can't access the part 0 or part 1 properties, so you have to script them. And command bar is very useful for this, so I'm going to do this. And local objects, since the objects are going to be the part 1, I'm going to identify the objects. And all the things under the model are just objects. If there's like a script in there, you would have to put an if statement saying like if the object that is being looped through is not a script, which if you're at the correct level, you should be able to do that yourself. So anyways, now that I've identified the welds in a table and the objects in a table, time to get to work. Okay, so I'm going to make this loop saying the number of welds, which means like it'll count as many welds as there are, and it'll loop through them. So like 1, and there's 11 welds, so it'll go like 1 through 11. Okay, anyway, let's continue. As you can see, I did an I, V and pair for the objects, which means like the V, I put an index and a value for them, so the V is the value. Now, welds I dot part 0 equal welds I. Okay, I'll basically go through the code once I'm done writing it down. I'll decipher it with a real script because you probably won't be able to make much sense of it because there's no indenting or any of that. It's just all in one line. So, by the way, I like to name these according to their part 1 name because it makes it easier for me to know which one to if they're all welded or not, and which one I don't need, because I won't need a weld with the front part, but it's easier if I just weld the front part to itself. But I'm gonna delete it anyway, but it makes the process easier. So anyway. By the way, make sure you do this all in one line in the command to make all these welds in one, because if you set the part 0 and part 1 before the C0, then it'll glitch out and like it'll mess up your whole design and all your parts will be at the center. Just messed up. I've done it before. It's horrible. Took me a while to figure out though. So welds I dot C0 equals. By the way, this is a rule of thumb for welds. I'll go over it later. There we go. Alright, so I don't need this because it's part 0 is front 1, and okay. So let me just decipher this code for you guys. This video might be a bit lengthy, as you can probably tell, because this is a huge process. Well, not really that big, but it's not that hard, believe me. It's actually very easy. Okay, so local. I don't care if it looks ugly right now because I'm gonna delete this after I show it to you guys. Anyway, so as you can see, I've identified the pet, I've identified the welds, and I've identified the objects with 2 tables. I've done all that, and then I've welded. I've looped through the welds using a for loop. So then I deciphered the objects table with a for I, comma v and pair. And then I did welds I dot part 0, this and that. So I set the part 0 to welds I dot parent, which means like front is probably the part 0 because that was their parent. So this is the part 0 as I'd want it to be. And welds I dot part 1 equals v right here. And that's all the objects. So the part 1 should be, yeah. And then I named them because I like to know like if I got all the welds and like which ones I don't need. So I named them by their part 1 to tell me what's up. And then welds I dot C0 equals, and then this is the rule of thumb I was talking about, welds. So you have to do the welds part 0 C frames inverse multiplied by the welds part 1 C frame. And then I ended them. These are the 2 ends for the for pair and the for loop. Alright, so now that I've done all this, time to get down to business. If I encounter an error, we'll go through it. It's okay. I'll try my best to not rage quit. Okay, so now I need a local script because obviously this is the client. I need a local script for it. I'm going to identify. Oops. Okay. No idea what happened. Okay. Local player equals game.players.local player. Local UIS equals. This is user input service. I like to use user input service. Some of you guys might use the key down event, but it's deprecated. So I'm gonna identify the user input service. Okay, I'm gonna just make the script and then like I'll go over it with you guys. Actually, I don't know, I might go over it when I'm making the script at the same time. Right. Head equals script. I like to use the wait for child method a lot. It's very useful for me. Let's see. Local model equals pet clone. So I clone the pet local. So we want this model to follow us along. So I'm gonna give a variable for front because that's gonna be the base pretty much. Front. Now I'm gonna make body position, which if you guys aren't familiar with, it's a body mover. It's very useful. And local BP. Now I'm gonna make a body gyro to make it so like the pet will face our torso. Alright, by the way, this is my second time making this video, but the last one was really long and I don't think anyone would enjoy it. So yeah, BP dot, and I thought I'd just make it as small and compact, I guess is the right word, as possible. So you guys would get all the information that you need rather than the useless one. Okay, let's shorten the process and not waste time. Oops, I did it the other way, but it's okay. I'll just fix that. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now we want to make it so like it'll always follow us. So we'll make a while loop. BP.position. Nope, forgot to define the character. Local character equals player.character. By the way, make sure you define the character inside of the function, so like it'll redefine it every time you use this function. Because if you define it up here, it'll just have it defined as the old character. So if you respawn, it'll just not work because the pet will follow the old character, which is not good. So local torso equals char. Go and wait for child. Torso. And now I've identified the torso, the character, all that good stuff. BP.position equals torso.position. Yeah, I guess that's alright. Yeah. And then BG.position equals torso.position. And let's not forget. I usually forget to connect the functions. Okay, now that. Let's see if we're missing anything. Should work. Oh, wait, forgot to parent the pet, of course. Okay. That's alright. Let's parent the pet. Jesus Christ, come on. Okay, parent the model that we want. Parent model that parent equals workspace. Let's see. Hopefully it works. Oh god, wait. I hit another. Jesus. Ah! I hate it when I make errors. But hey, mistakes help you learn. Forgot this is a. Okay. If input object dot key code equals enum dot key code dot enum dot key code dot, let's see, make a queue. Let's add an end for that. So this is basically a user input service function. So let me see if this works, then I'll explain it. And oh, there's already in there. Alright, let's check this out. line 6. Oh, yeah. You need double equal signs when you're comparing two things with an if statement. Pet is not a valid member of Story GUI. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, probably I know it. Line number 1. Oh, gosh. Okay. Forgot to remove that script. Alright, it's loading. Sorry for my slow computer. Hey, what do you know? It works. Actually, wait. Nope, it does not work. Oh, silly error. Okay. A lot of errors, but to be expected. Okay. Yeah, there we go. pg.cframe, because, wait, not capitalized. cframe, torso.cframe. Okay. Because body gyro's position is in a property of the body gyro. C-frame is a property of body gyro. Actually, yeah, pretty much. So this will follow me around, like it'll just stalk me, and that's basically it, guys. There's our detailed pet. Has everything inside of it, and it will follow you. Stop where you stop. Oh, I need to fix that. Okay, so that's easy. It's just basically colliding with my body, which I don't want it to do because glitch me out and stuff. So I'm just gonna make the can collide false. But yeah, that's about it. And I'm gonna explain the script to you guys. You guys can stick around if you want. You don't have to because some people don't like an explanation. They just want it done. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Okay, script. Okay. So here is I identified the local player, which you can do with the local script. With every local script, you can identify the local player. This won't work in a server script, which is a normal script basically. And then I got the service called user input service, and used it to make it so like if the key that I press is equal to this key called Q on my keyboard, then it will do the following. And then I did the pet, which is under the script, of course. I like to use the wait for child method, as I've stated before. Uh, it's just prevents lag and it's more efficient to me. So then I made a function here with the parameters of input object and GP. Don't worry about that. It's game processed event. Never used it. Uh, don't really care about it. Anyway, so then I did an if statement saying if input object.keycode equals enum.keycode.q. So this will be comparing two keycodes, and if that keycode is equal to this one, then it'll do the following. This is the model that I cloned, this pet. Then I identified the front of the model. I needed to make something called front, so like I can make it to where the model will face my torso, and it'll face in the direction I want. Because usually models front is different than what you want, what you think it to be, because it'll change. Because you put it as one model, so that's why. And well, I used a sphere for that, so the front was different than what I thought it'd be because I used a sphere. Uh, so yeah, that's one of the main reasons why it was giving me all those problems. So anyway, identify the model that I cloned, identified the front part that I cloned. Then I made an instance of body position, which I need to make it move towards a certain position, and then I identified a body gyro, which I need to make it rotate, and then I identified my character, my torso, all that good stuff. Then I parented the model to the workspace so that you can see it, or yeah, so that you can see it as it follows you around. And then I did the max force and max torque. I always like to set these properties of the body position, body gyro, so like it doesn't error out as to how big the part is, because usually the default body position, the default max force and max torque won't work. So I did that, and then I made a while wait loop doing the position, and this will keep running forever, and he will keep getting positioned to my updated position, because I've already identified that torso in here. So anyway, then I did bodyguard.cframe, and we can even add a function of when we die, the part will disappear. It'll be easy. Let's see. Need to first identify my humanoid. Local hum equals char, wait for child. Oops. Okay, the died event. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. Hum.died. Let me move this over here, actually. Model remove. Basically, that's all I need to do. Or, if you want to be really fancy about it, debris add item. Model, comma, to. Oops, game debris. Okay, I haven't used debris in a while, so if this errors, I won't be surprised. But let's see. Oh, let me also put a debounce. Local deb equals false. Deb equals true. Okay, and then I'll set the debounce to false. Deb equals false. I don't really need a debounce, but hey, it doesn't really matter. So let's do it. Let's see, and if this happens, then deb will equal to false. True. Or
group shout from Tokyo Ghoul community.
Okay, sorry about that interruption. I have Roblox Plus. It's awesome. Anyways. No, it's the other way. No, I think this should work. Well, I haven't used a debounce in a long time. So, yeah. I'm not sure if this will work, but it doesn't really matter. We're not going to really test the debounce. Anyway, so let's see. Reset. And see, disappeared. Got added. And by the way, why you might wonder it took so long, it's not because of my crappy computer, rather it's because I made it wait, because in the debounce you have a property, you can make it wait for 2 seconds or however much you want. That's this number. I made it wait for 2 seconds and then it got removed. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. Do whatever you like, and have a nice day.